Vice President Kamala Harris will finally take that trip to the southern border on Friday. Our next guest has just introduced the Transparency of Migration Act, which calls for more accountability from the Biden administration on the border. And she's giving us an exclusive first look at the details of the bill. Joining us now, New York Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis. Congresswoman, good to see you.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
I'd like to start off first, though, by getting your reaction to the president's address that happened in the last hour. According to the New York Post, New York City cops are saying that the administration's crackdown on guns really won't do a thing to stop violence because so many weapons have been on the streets for so many years. Congresswoman, if he really wanted to lead on this issue, shouldn't he really be addressing a message to mayors in places like Chicago and New York City that we need to start empowering police departments?
Absolutely. He should be speaking to his fellow Democrats that have either defunded the police, as New York City has done by cutting $1 billion of their budget. He should be talking to governors like Andrew Cuomo, who have implemented a lousy, radical bail reform law that has led to thousands of individuals being released back onto our streets. As a matter of fact, 9 out of 10 individuals arrested in New York City for having an illegal firearm are released automatically back onto the street. And half of those arrested who actually shoot someone are being released back onto the street because of Governor Cuomo's botched bail reform law. So the president may have some good intentions here, and certainly we do need to go after illegal firearms. I think that is part of the problem, and the trafficking of that, which leads us to the border, because many of these guns, if you speak to Customs and Border Patrol, AK-47s are coming over the southern border. And so we do need to address this trafficking issue, but we need to also make sure that our police have the resources they need to do their job, and that we stop handcuffing them and stop releasing people who have records, lengthy criminal records, back onto our streets with the botched bail law.
Absolutely. They have to be empowered to do their job. And right now, that's just not happening. But Congressman, I do want to stick with the border. It is great to see that the vice president has finally agreed to do this after 90 days of being appointed as this border czar. But we were just talking to Senator Steve Daines, and he said she's going to the wrong place. She's going to El Paso. She should be going somewhere like Donna, Texas, where a lot of members of Congress went. One, do you think she's going to the wrong place? And two, do you think that this trip is going to result in anything?
You know what? She's obviously just doing this because she's caving to the pressure that we in the Republican Party have placed on her, the mockery that it's been 90 days since she's been appointed to take charge of the border crisis and has done absolutely nothing to address it. I've been to Donna, Texas. I've been to McAllen, Texas. I've been to Mission, Texas. I've seen firsthand what our Customs and Border Patrol agents are facing. I've seen the migrants crossing over. You see the cartels, how they're operating. You only can get that if you're at the Rio Grande and actually seeing what is transpiring here. So it's my hope that she's not just going to go there and play political games and continue to blame President Trump, but actually try to speak with the Customs and Border Patrol agents. But I think in order to do that and really get a sense of what's going on, like I did when I was there, you really have to go to the southernmost part at the Rio Grande and see it firsthand what is transpiring there.
Congresswoman, let's talk about your bill. You introduced legislation today calling for more accountability from the administration on this border crisis. Tell us what you hope to achieve with the bill.
You know, we want transparency. The American people deserve transparency. Local governments deserve transparency. You know, my bill would simply disclose who is exactly coming over our border. Do they have a criminal history? Where are they being released? Are they coming to our state or any other state? So local governments can prepare. They know what kind of resources they need to allocate to deal with it. They know what kind of law enforcement they may need, what kind of impact it'll have on their services. This is about transparency and letting local governments and the American people know exactly who is coming and where did they come from, and do they have criminal histories? We know that sex offenders have crossed the border, that convicted criminals who have been sent back home have crossed the border and re-entered. We know that there's even been individuals caught on the FBI terrorist watch list that have crossed over the border. And the American people deserve to know whether they're being moved in down the street from them. And that is what my bill aims to do, so local governments can hold the federal government accountable and also use any legal means possible to stop this influx.
I do want to switch to your home state of New York. The New York City mayoral race is ramping up. You actually ran for the mayor of New York City, but Democrats held their primary yesterday, and defund the police candidate Maya Wiley, she came in second. The results aren't in. They won't probably be in for a couple weeks. But how concerned are you that a socialist-like candidate and someone who wants to defund the police fared pretty well?
Yeah, look, when I ran for mayor in 2017, I warned that the policies being put in place by Mayor de Blasio were going to lead us to a less safe city, a city where quality of life was going to deteriorate, a city where taxes were going to soar and drive people out. And that's exactly what has happened. I am concerned about Maya Wiley because she's probably the only candidate that's been running that would actually be worse than Bill de Blasio. Everyone else would probably be an improvement, even if it's just a slight improvement. The good news is that public opinion is changing in New York. 77% of Democrat residents polled, Democrat registered voters polled, said they want more police on the streets. Okay, so Maya Wiley got that fringe, 23%. I think that's her ceiling that she reached in that first round. I don't anticipate that she will get more votes in that second round. And the fact that, they did pick someone who was an officer in the NYPD as their nominee just shows that even Democrats are concerned about restoring public safety onto our streets. And so that's the good news. The good news is we can probably only get better from here from Bill de Blasio, and Maya Wiley doesn't look like she'll be that candidate, but absolutely concerning. I think this was also a pushback against AOC, who endorsed Maya Wiley, and the socialist movement, who have been pushing to defund the police. It was a loud and clear message sent yesterday that we want law and order. And between the Democratic candidate Curtis Sliwa, who has spent his life as a member of the Guardian Angels, a founder of the Guardian Angels, pushing for security and safety, really deterring crime on the streets of New York City. I think we're going to have a real healthy debate this cycle about where we want to take this city. And I think that all indications are showing that people want law and order restored. And as someone who's been at front and center on this issue, pushing back on these radical laws, pushing for support of our police, it is great to see that everyone seems to be moving in the same direction here, even though we may still be a little bit apart.
All right. Well, I hope you're right, Congresswoman. Always good to see you. Thanks for being here with us.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.